That's been nice for me personally as well. Yes.
Don't lie.
But your relationship with alcohol.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about your relationship with alcohol and how it's changed.
Yeah. So I pretty much barely drink anymore. I used to be. I guess that's because of the whole British culture. I used to drink numerous times per week, particularly when I was growing up, university. Then even throughout my 20s, I was very much into my fitness, but at the same time, there was always at least one extremely heavy blowout at the weekend. And then it just carried on. Like even, I think when I was just before, no, 29, I did the first experiment where I went sober for 6 months. And that taught me a lot because I was put in situations where I would normally drink. And because I was doing this challenge, I wasn't allowed to drink. And I think that was the first time that I was in situations where usually I would be drunk and like in a relaxed state, whatever it might be. But this time, like I was sober. I was doing something which I would never do. And I actually realized it wasn't that hard to do. And I actually quite liked it. And I think life is just short. And I can't afford to have days wasting away feeling sorry for myself, being aggressively hungover, which at the age I'm at now, the hangovers are pretty aggressive. Yeah. But we'll still drink, but it usually tends to be when I have achieved something or I've got the job done and I can celebrate. It's like, okay, you've achieved this. Let's go out. Let's celebrate. Have a drink if you want to have a drink. Once that's over, then it's back to the grind again.
What else have you learned from your time going sober? Obviously, the reason for doing it is that you don't want to waste your days so much, but what else have you learned?
I actually really enjoy my reality being sober. I actually don't really like the feeling of being drunk anymore. I think now I'm at a point where I feel like I'm very much in control. I really like the person who I am now when I'm sober. I'm extremely a lot more confident now. I can have conversations with anyone. I can charm people. I can, have a laugh. I can have a dance. I can do whatever I need to do, but I can do it sober. And there's actually no real need for me to drink. And when I do drink, I realize actually I start to get a little bit sloppy with my words. I say things which I wouldn't normally say, might potentially regret. And then there's parts of the night or conversation which I won't remember. And then I wake up feeling like absolute trash. You spend a lot of money as well out here on alcohol, which is usually just not wise. So it's when I compare the positives to the negatives, there's actually very few positives.
Yeah. So this, this was something
I don't know. I'm thinking now, like, so why did I drink?
That's the question I had on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Like, you've laid out this balance sheet of positives and negatives. Why did either of us? And this is both of our upbringings, right? Our formative years in Newcastle, and then both of us stuck about once we finished our degrees, going out, drinking trebs.
You could get absolutely annihilated for like £10.
Correct. Yeah. So again, for the people that don't know, when we were at uni, you could have got three treble vodka mixers for £5, and you would usually get a free Jaeger bomb with each of them. So that's 9 shots of vodka plus 3 shots of Jaeger for £5. And the way that it would work, because you couldn't carry all of them back, you would have to pour all of the Jaegers in together, drink one of the trebs, and then carry 2 back. So what I'm thinking is, why is it that we ever saw it as something that not only we would do, we would willingly do, we would repeatedly do 2 nights a week throughout all of uni? Why?
I think, from thinking back when I was at university, I actually now that I recall, I don't know anybody that didn't drink. I feel like every single person drank.
Yep.
And if there was anyone that didn't drink, they were weird. You wouldn't hang out with them.
But they weren't a part of the social group. Yeah, they weren't a part of the social circle.
I definitely remember drinking a lot just to feel more comfortable, to reduce the anxiety.
Me too.
Yeah, because especially when you're in a club, the music's really loud, there's lights everywhere, there's people everywhere talking. It's really overwhelming. So the alcohol would numb that, and then you would feel more comfortable.
Just to interject there, think about the modern world this 2023 version of the world, someone would say that if that was a challenge that you were coming up against, that's because you're like a blue pill beta simp guy who hasn't worked on his masculine essence and stuff. And I think that, just to bring it back to what we spoke about earlier on about like why young guys struggling specifically now, this expectation again that you should have your shit together.